Well, it's his last attempt to avoid going to prison. Former President Jacob Zuma has launched yet another legal fight. He wants the Pietermaritzburg High Court to stop Police Minister Bheki Cele from arresting him. This until the Constitutional Court has heard his new application. The Apex Court sentenced Zuma to 15 months in prison for failing to appear before the State Capture Commission of Inquiry. He was given 5 days to go to prison on his own or face arrest by the police. eNCA senior reporter Siphamandla Goge joins me now from Pietermaritzburg. Sipha, always great to chat to you. So what exactly will the former president's legal team be asking the High Court in Pietermaritzburg to do tomorrow at 11:30?
That this High Court sitting in Pietermaritzburg grants an order interdicting his pending arrest. Remember, when the Constitutional Court issued or handed down that judgment, it said the former president had 5 calendar days to hand himself over to the police authorities, whether in the Johannesburg Central or in eNCA, his hometown. But then again, the former president, together with his legal team, decided to apply to the very same court which basically sentenced him to 15 months in prison, the Constitutional Court, to say, can you please rescind your decision? We are not happy with your decision. We are applying to you to reconsider your judgment in this case. But there was part 2 of that judgment. So there was the judgment and the sentence. The judgment was that the former president is guilty of defying a court order to go back to the State Capture Commission of Inquiry and appear before Deputy Chief Justice Raymond Zondo, who is chairing that Commission of Inquiry into state capture. And then the former president was sentenced to 15 months in prison. So tomorrow he wants the Pietermaritzburg High Court to put on hold his pending arrest now while he's busy with his application at the Constitutional Court, where he wants that Apex Court to reconsider and rescind its decision. So tomorrow he will be saying, I was given 3 days, or should I say the police authorities were given 3 days to arrest me after the expiry of my deadline of 5 calendar days. So tomorrow will be day 2 of that deadline. The former president will be asking the court to put that on hold. But let's listen to his lawyer, Advocate Dalimpofu, here, unpacking their legal process and their application to the Constitutional Court as well as to the High Court sitting in Pietermaritzburg.
The first application was to the Constitutional Court for the rescission of the order and judgment that was given on the 29th. Now, rescission is just a legalese word. It simply means that that decision must be set aside on the basis of errors and omissions in the judgment. Okay? Now, the second application was brought to the Pietermaritzburg High Court. That application is going to be heard this Tuesday. The first application to the Constitutional Court was a normal application. The second one was an urgent application. Right? The urgent application was brought to sit down on sit on Tuesday, simply because, as you know, that there were 2 deadlines. There's one of today. Then there was the other one of 3 days thereafter for the police. And its intention was to suspend the arrest order or to interdict the Minister of Police and the National Commissioner from executing that order, pending the application in the Constitutional Court and an application to render the gap in the Criminal Procedure Act unconstitutional insofar as it fails to allow for a trial in situations such as this.
All right, so Sipa, tomorrow then is an attempt to put a temporary hold on the prison sentence until the issue of the judgment from the Constitutional Court is looked at again, the so-called rescission issue at the Constitutional Court. Now, a lot of legal experts already are saying there is no way that a lower court, such as the Pietermaritzburg High Court, can make a decision about something the Constitutional Court has decided. So obviously this all has to be decided legally, and we're not the experts. But if tomorrow he loses, does that mean he could be going to prison until next Monday, which is the 12th, which is when the Constitutional Court will hear his rescission application.
That point about jurisdiction is one of the arguments that are going to play out here tomorrow at the High Court in Pietermaritzburg, because there is that argument to say, hang on, you can't come to the lower court and ask it to basically overturn the decision of the higher court, which in this case is the Constitutional Court. There are those who are saying the former president will be told, or should have been told, to go back to the very same court that found him guilty and sentenced him. So legal experts and scholars on this matter are divided, and you keep on learning new things with this Zuma court case. But let me tell you that tomorrow is very important for the former president, because remember, the issue now is what happens next should he not succeed in staying his pending arrest. Therefore, that deadline which was given to the executive of the police, that is the Police Minister General Bheki Cele, as well as the National Police Commissioner General Siphamandla Goge, because the Constitutional Court judgment was very clear that should the former president not hand himself over to the authorities, police were given 3 days to act in that regard. So whatever transpires here tomorrow will be a big development for the former president if he is granted that order, even though we know that many legal experts are questioning, saying, listen, there is no way that a lower court can act and overturn a decision of the higher court here. There are those who believe that the matter will have to be struck off the roll and then referred back, and the former president will be advised that you basically did not need to come here. You had to go back to the same court that found you guilty and sentenced you. So, but the former president is adamant that, listen, at the end of the day, he still maintains his stance that he doesn't fear going to prison, but he wants justice. He says, yes, I've said in the past that I do not fear being incarcerated, but I want justice to be done. When he was addressing his supporters outside his eNCA home yesterday, that was the stance. When he was addressing the media later on, that was the very same stance. But interestingly, you could pick up something when the former president said he will take advice from his own family members and from his own comrades as to what should happen next. When he was addressing his supporters, he was adamant that, well, there was no police officer that was going to come to his home and take him to prison. And he also said the day before that he was not going to walk himself over to the nearest police station. But listen to what he said yesterday.
I'm not scared of going to jail for my beliefs. It will not be for the first time. I will be a prisoner of conscience. I have already spent more than 10 years in Robben Island under very difficult and cruel conditions. Even then, I was a prisoner of my conscience and beliefs. However, I have a duty and obligation to ensure that the dignity and respect for our judiciary is not compromised.
So, Siphamandla, 11:30 tomorrow, and it's a virtual sitting. We will find out if he's able to get a stay of execution of that arrest warrant. And then, of course, if he does, we'll proceed the following week. But the ANC was present in Nkandla this past weekend. Dramatic developments near the former president's home. What do you make of the political parties' options going forward now?
The ANC is confused in this matter. They had to postpone their National Executive Committee meeting, which was meant to be convened over the past weekend, because they were allowing the leadership of the ANC, including the National Executive Committee members, to come to KwaZulu-Natal and assist the provincial executive of the ANC in the province in dealing with the situation that was developing at Nkandla. Some people say the ANC has left this matter for too late, and they are arguing arguing that what is happening currently shows lack of decisive leadership in the part of the ANC, because some ANC members which have been discouraged in the past from going to support people who are facing legal challenges and battles flocked to Nkandla there to show their support to the former president, who remains, by the way, one of the most dominant political players within the ANC, and is still politically relevant in KwaZulu-Natal and in other provinces in the bigger scheme of things within the ANC. So the NEC had to postpone that meeting, assign some NEC members. That list includes very interesting NEC members there. Ayanda Dlodlo, State Security Minister, as well as Nozivwe Mapisa-Nqakula, who's the Defense Minister, General Bheki Cele, Police Minister. The composition of that list with the security cluster NEC members tells you that the governing party was serious about trying to solve this, but it's a bit too late now. The judgment is out. The former president has been sentenced, even though he is taking this matter forward. So I can tell you that the Provincial Executive Committee of the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal is also grappling with this matter and is seeking that assistance from the ANC NEC. For now, the NEC will be meeting to discuss this Zuma matter. Only one agenda item there on the table is the issue of former President Jacob Zuma and the Concord judgment, together with the latest developments. So the ANC is all over the place here, grappling to basically locate itself and how to deal with this matter, which is already dividing the already weakened ANC.
Thank you so much, Siphamandla Goge, coming to us live from the Pietermaritzburg High Court. Well,